Good morning,
Yes.
everyone. Every sunrise gives you a new beginning, a new ending. Let this morning be a new ending to the bad memories. It's an opportunity to learn, explore, and think positive. Virtually nothing on earth can stop a person with a positive attitude who has his goal clear in his sight. A very warm good morning to one and all present here. On behalf of Jagril Lake City University, I, Dr. Yash Tiwari, Assistant Professor, School of Law, welcome you all to the JLU webinar on careers in the 21st century. It's my privilege to welcome our expert for the session, Mr. Ashish Laktakia, Company Secretary and Chief Legal and Compliance Officer at Edelweiss General Insurance Company Limited. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Jagril Lake City University, Bhopal, is a center of quality and excellence in higher education and a vital part of city of Bhopal. JLU Bhopal is one of the fastest growing and one of the most awarded university of Central India. It has a beautiful campus with lots of positive. Believe me, it's a very positive campus. The university has been bestowed with several prestigious awards, such as University of the Year by Government of Madhya Pradesh for consecutive 4 years in 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018, and is recognized as a Global League institution in 2015 at the House of Commons, London. JLU Bhopal has been ranked #1 private university in Madhya Pradesh in the year 2016, 17, 18, and 19 by several legal publications. Without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our expert for the session, Mr. Ashish Laktakia. Mr. Laktakia is working in Edelweiss General Insurance Company as Company Secretary and Chief Legal and Compliance Officer. Mr. Ashish is a company secretary, legal and compliance professional with more than 19 years of experience in working with large corporates. He is an astute performer with proven expertise in managing legal risk, ensuring good corporate governance, legal compliance, and documentation. Today, he will be speaking on a very pertinent topic: what does industry expect from the law students? Before beginning with Sir's lecture, I would request you, if you have any questions in your mind, you can write it down in the chat box. We'll take up your questions at the end. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. It's my privilege to be here as a part of this webinar. This is always good to be with the students, the aspiring students from the same fraternity. Uh, in 5 minutes from now, I would be briefing about the law as a subject and law as a profession. So I would see law in two aspects. As a subject itself is a very good subject to take because it gives you a broad idea of actually what is happening, what are your rights, what are your privileges, what is all about in the constitution, which gives you certain privileges, rights, fundamental rights, and what are the laws which you need to be abiding as a good citizen. This is basically a subject part of law. As a profession, because I am practicing from last 19 years, I can say that once you practice it, whether it's a litigation or a non-litigation, because if you see, you can divide this law profession into two categories. I'll come further. What are the opportunities? But as a profession, it can be seen two types actually. Basically, one is a litigation profession where you go into various courts and practice, and second is the non-litigation wherein advisory comes into picture. So you have to then once you take up advisory as your career, then you will be advising big corporates in big uh, M&A transactions, co- contract drafting, several other legal opinions, etc. So in this way, if you see, you get a lot of confidence, because once you know the law, you know what is right or what is wrong. So that gives you a very good confidence. So in both the ways, when you are fighting some case or advising to somebody, or maybe providing some opinion, it gives you freedom, and it gives you actually mental satisfaction that you are providing some service in terms of giving your correct legal opinion, or maybe fighting a case where it's just like a profession similar to the doctor. So when you are ill, it's a doctor who will save your life. Similarly, if you are caught up in some of the legal battle, it is a lawyer who can save you from that. So that's my view on the law profession, and I'm very highly motivated and very bullish on this field. And I have grown. I can share my experience. I was a law graduate from University of Lucknow, and then I did my masters in from the same university. After that, I took the CS profession, and in whole 19 year of my career, I am though I am not a litigation lawyer, I am a corporate lawyer. So I am working for various corporates, and always on the advisory side of the profession. So it gives me actually too much satisfaction when I am resolving some issue, which is actually where the corporate needs a legal advice, or maybe structuring of a transaction, or maybe actually signing up with the different multinational organization for a M&A transaction and all. So that's a small brief on this profession. Over to Yash, madam.
So, as you said that you are into advisory things. So, what do you suggest students so that they can, when they join this profession, they won't face any problem? What do you think? So, what do you think that a recruiter expects from his recruits?
Okay. It's a very good question and very pertinent question as far as law students are concerned. Uh, so I would see this as a very responsible role. So after graduating, some of the students will go into practice. Some of the students will take a corporate role, and when they are taking a corporate role, as per your question, if you are on such a position wherein you want to advise somebody, so my advice to students would be, basically recruiters see a problem solving approach. So as far as your professional acumen is concerned, they would see a person who would be advising them to have a solution oriented man, or a person basically. So so law is clear actually. So in law profession, you have a textbook, you have a journals, you have a case laws. Anybody can read and interpret. But for a lawyer, you should have a holistic approach. And once the problem comes to you, you should actually be very sharp in interpreting law. You should be very actually thorough in the subject, and you should have a solution oriented mind. So these are the three basic, you can say, uh, basic necessities, or basic knowledge function which is required for a after completing your law course, when you are joining some organization, wherein suppose you are a chief legal officer of a company, and your CEO or managing director has got some problem which has been sent to the MD and CEO for a different function. So he will not take decision solely. He would definitely refer this to you to safeguard the legal risk of the organization. So once this is referred to you, it becomes all the more important, and it is a very responsible job. If something goes wrong, then financially as well as your there are, because when law is involved, there are two types of implication. One is financial implication, which is a monetary in terms of fine, penalties, and other things, and other is a legal liability in terms of prosecution, in terms of cancelling of licenses and all. So looking to all these scenario, it becomes very responsible and very important role when you are advising. You should be very sharp in devising a problem solving solution which is in line with the law and which have to qualify the test of Indian legal system. So that's my advice to the budding law students.
Sir, as you said that lawyers need to develop a holistic approach. So, how can you tell me how they should develop the holistic approach? How they will do
Yeah.
that?
So besides the academic knowledge of law, they should be actually knowing what are the scenarios in the market going on, what is the industry practice, and suppose because you not necessarily you will be working in same industry for whole of your career. In my 19 years of careers, I have changed I think 4 or 5 industry sectors itself. First of in starting of my career, I used to work for a manufacturing company. Then I worked in some automobile industry, then paper manufacturing, then food processing, then financial services. So in my advice to the students is this. This is the for sure that you have to be very sure on the law, which definitely you would be doing because it's a part of your curriculum. But suppose after your graduation, you are joining a specific industry, so you should be knowing in and out of that industry. What are the laws applicable? What are the recent circulars? What is the government policy on that relevant industry sectors, etc. So if suppose there is a difference. If you only be knowing law, then your solution will be skewed on a similar one side only. But when you are knowing law as well as your industry practice, what is the industry policy on that? What are the circulars? What is the regulators view on that? Then you will be able to devise a holistic approach. So in one line answer to your question, I would advise students to not only stick to the law, but they should be aware of relevant uh, regulations, circulars, industry practice, as well as the different case laws which has been decided by relevant courts. So these are the few things which I would like to advise.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you tell us that what are the avenues open for a law student after graduating?
This is also very interesting, and there are a hell lot of things a lawyer can do. So after graduating, first of all, once you are graduating, you should be doing law very seriously. There are there are instances when I'm sure when these students are taking a decision to do law, they would be aware of this fraternity. So there are lawyers who are sitting in the district courts also, and there are lawyers, the named lawyers, for example, Harish Salve, maybe Abhishek Manu Singhvi, etc., whose uh, actually fee for appearance is too very high. So first thing is that they should be very serious when they are doing this course. As far as avenues are concerned, they have to actually choose as per their interest. Some lawyers are actually and their personalities. So some students are very extrovert, some students are introvert. It depends on the personality and all. If you are a very extrovert, then you should definitely take up a challenge of the litigation lawyer, wherein you can do a practice before various courts across India. And there are so in terms of the avenues, there are litigation which wherein you can practice in open court. You can join a law firm, wherein in law firm also there are two types of lawyers which are required. One is a litigation lawyer, wherein those lawyers would represent various clients who are coming to the law firm for their dispute redressal or maybe some litigation work. In law firm, you can be on a corporate advisory role, wherein you will be on a retainership of particular corporate, wherein you would be advising on their legal issues, whether it's a contract drafting, contract negotiation, M&A transactions, SEBI related listing requirements, etc. Third avenue would be you can go into a public sector undertaking as a law officer. So this is also one of the very promising avenue for a law graduates. After graduating, there are various law firms, various public sector organizations who recruits fresh lawyers as their law officers. So, and another avenue could be maybe a government, basically government jobs, for example, judicial services, public prosecutor examinations, etc. So these are the avenues where law, and last but not the least, even they can take up a academic profession also, like Yash Madam is having their. She is actually assistant professor in some of the reputed law universities. So that is also one of the avenues which are available to law students.
Okay, sir. How a student should decide that he should go for litigation, or he should go for a corporate sector, or he should go for judicial services or academics? How they should decide?
Yeah, so that is completely based on individual choice. So if some of the students are actually very literary in the nature, so maybe they have a interest in academics, so they can choose those roles, wherein they suppose some students who want to pursue their higher studies, LLM or a PhDs, so they will definitely have to appear into some NET, National Eligibility Test examination, or maybe some other uh, qualifying examination to enroll themselves into masters or a doctorate level degree. So they can consider teaching as their profession. If somebody who wants to actually maybe want to is a very extrovert and want to their arguing power is far sharper than their academic interest, so they can pursue litigation, because in litigation you have to argue before court of law. So, and third could be if they are very interested, or their mindset is on a drafting type. So they can be a very good contract drafting lawyer. So these are this is completely based on their individual choice. And between litigation and a corporate, I would suggest to take their inner instinct basically, and to actually they have to sit after that is actually long after completing graduation. So they will have but too much time to think over during the course when they would be completing their law degree. uh, that interest automatically comes into their mind, whether they want to consider a litigation field or maybe corporate lawyer. So that is completely on the individual's choice.
Okay, sir. So when, at which stage of the 5-year course or the 3 years course, they should decide that now it's the right time to decide that he should go for litigation, he should go for, or right from the beginning, from the first year? What do you think so?
No, not necessarily from the first year. I think it's maybe after third year, or maybe when they are doing their first internship. I believe every 5-year law course has an internship inbuilt in the program. So when they are doing their internship, there they will have to choose. So if they are doing an internship with some good reputed practicing lawyer, they would have too much interest in getting into argument. And if suppose some person joins a law firm or a corporate, they would have a automatically they will go into a corporate sector, because they would see the corporate life and all. So at the stage of internship, my sense is they should consider choosing the option.
Okay, sir.
I'll
Sir,
share one experience here. I would like to share one experience. During the internship, I think couple of students have come from your university only to my corporate, wherein they were doing internship under my supervision when I was working in the organization, Reliance Nippon Life Insurance. So there, two students came and they were so motivated, and they at the end of the internship program, when we sat together and I was just asking them, what is your thought process, what is your experience of this 2 months internship, they were very clear. They told me that, sir, it was a very good experience for me to be into corporate this thing, and I want to pursue my career as a corporate lawyer. And after graduating, I believe both of them got selected in ICICI Prudential, or ICICI Lombard actually. It's a very good insurance company, and both of them had joined that sector. So I believe that is the time when they feel and they think that which part they want to go.
okay, sir. Sir, what is your take on communication skills? Does it become barrier in this field?
To my sense, if you want to become a litigation lawyer where you want to argue, and a corporate lawyer, uh, communication skills are very important. So unless you have a good corporate communication skills, you cannot become a good lawyer, whether you are into litigation or a corporate practice.
Okay, sir. So what about organizational skills?
Organizational skill is too early to actually comment on, because once they join some organization, but people actually, this is an inbuilt mindset. So if you are organized since childhood, you would be organized. So there are some kids who are very organized. They want to keep their books in a particular way. They want to keep their study table in a particular way and all. So that is definitely, that is important, because when you are preparing for your case, whether it's a litigation or advisory, you have to actually you have to be very, very organized, because first you have to refer a particular case law relevant section and all. Then you have to refer a particular case law. Then you have to see the industry, what is the industry practice. Are there any circulars issued from various government organizations or not? So I think you have to be very organized in this profession.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you please tell us that what role does ethics and values play in this field of law?
So yeah, as far as this ethics and values are concerned, in person's personality, these two things plays a very important role. Unless you are ethical and you are very, very straightforward, honest, you will not be very confident in your deeds. So for example, if you are very ethical and honest, you will be advising your client in a very transparent way. And when your ethics and this thing is compromised, you will not be very transparent, and your advice will not be straightworthy, because in your subconscious mind there would be something which would be bothering you, that while considering this matter, or while preparing your advice, your ethics were compromised. So ethics plays a very important role in law field.
Okay, sir. Sir, how far do you agree with this statement that practicing law is skill, not a practice? It's not just developed through practicing for so many years. What is your take on this statement?
Hello. No, your voice is breaking actually in between. Hello.
Sir, I'm repeating the question
Hello.
again. Hello.
Yeah.
Am I
Yeah,
audible
please.
to you,
Yeah.
sir?
Yes, yes. Yeah, you are.
Okay, sir. So I repeat the question again. How far do you agree to the statement that practicing law is a skill? It is not developed through practicing over the years.
No, actually, practicing skills, it's the more you practice, the more your skills will be actually sharpened. So I think there is some connect problem in connection here. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, sir, I can hear you properly.
Okay. Because there is something, there is some message on my. Just a moment. Yeah. So yeah, I was telling you. Uh, so for a practicing lawyer, I think if I heard your question correct, you wanted to ask that how the practicing skills can be, you can say, matured, or is that your question, right?
Sir, this is also my question. This is my next question. This would have been my next question. I asked you this thing that it's a statement that lawyering is a skill. It does not develop through practicing for years, for few years. What is your take on this?
Yeah, correct. So if you can refer my earlier conversation on this, I was telling you while saying about the avenues. So this is a inbuilt, you can say, inbuilt quality. There are some students or some people who are very good in argument, and so 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 if a person is very good in argument, and if he takes up a law, so he will be a natural, you can say, argument lawyer. So when he goes into practice, it becomes his inbuilt quality, wherein he can sharpen his skill in times to come when he is managing multiple type of cases. So so this is not a clear cut answer. So of this question, one is the inbuilt quality, second is the practice. So it's a well saying that practice makes a man perfect. So when there is an inbuilt quality of a student where he's a, you can say, argument, his argument skills are very good, and during the time when he is into law practice, wherein he's arguing before court, the different court of law, and in 3 4 or maybe 10 years down the line, he has handled multiple cases wherein there are multiple question of laws which needs to be argued and settled. It will be developed. So that's what is my take on that.
Okay, sir. Sir, my next question to you is that what qualities do you think so that a recruit must possess? What are the few essential qualities that he must possess?
Yeah. So in terms of the corporate recruiting, when I recruit people in my team, I see 3 4 qualities. His knowledge of his subject. So he should be very serious and very sharp in writing his resume. For example, if he is writing that he has handled M&A transaction, so he should be aware of each and everything pertaining to that subject. Number one. Number two, he should be very solution oriented mind. So that I've already shared earlier. So when I see a person to be into my team, not only he should be knowing only the subject, but he should have a solution solving approach, problem solving approach, wherein he should see particular question or particular advice as a problem and provide a solution. He should not be very you can say stubborn or very harsh in determining law. He should be having a problem solving approach. Third, his communication. I see when I recruit uh, some persons in my team, his or her communication skill also plays a very important role. And fourth thing, if he is coming into a corporate sector, his or her drafting skills should be good. So these are the four traits which mostly recruiters want when they are recruiting a legal professional into their teams.
Okay, sir. So can you give some tips to improve drafting skills of a student?
Yeah. So my advice would be they should read too much. So actually, during the 4 5 years of they have a time, because once they get into a job, they will not get any time, because even in internship, they will hardly get any time. So these are the time when they are into university, they have a time in their hand, wherein they can actually take full use of that time. So my advice would be for a good drafting skills, they should read too much. They should actually try to write maybe one pager or two pager on different subjects. For example, there is a for example in the corporate law, there are multiple subjects you would be teaching, right? So they should understand in class, and then they should go back to their hostel or home basically, and they should start writing on their own without referring to the books what they have understood. So that will actually improve. That would help improving their drafting skills.
Okay, sir. Sir, moving on to the next, I would ask you what success mantra do you want to share with our audience?
Yeah.
What is your
So
success?
two things I would want to advise. Number one, there is no shortcut to success. Second, only hard work is the key to success. These are the two mantras which can take anybody, whether he is a player or a professional or a doctor or academician. These are the two mantras by which they can lead their successful life. So I know in my example, when I started my career, I used to work. One day I went to my office. I was in the initial part of my career. I was working for a law firm. This is not. I'm not sharing this to scare the students, but they should be prepared of this scenario also. So when you are working in a transaction, time has no limit. I know one of the M&A transaction wherein I actually left my home at 9 in the morning, and I came back next day 4 a.m. in the morning, and again 9 a.m. I have to go because the transaction were to be signed, and I have to present that before the registration authority. So 24, maybe 9 to 9, maybe 24 hours continuously I was working. So that's the actually, and this applies to both lawyers as well as the doctors. I would want to refer a recent case, the Nirbhaya one, wherein everybody would have seen. Even the Supreme Court judge came to hear the petition at around 3, and the lawyer who was representing these guys and the defense lawyer both were working continuously till 4 o'clock was the execution timing, and till 3:30 the final verdict came actually. So this is nothing but the hard work. This proves that there is nothing which can take you on the top. So these are the two mantras which I would want to advise budding students.
Okay, sir. So can you please tell me that during the course of 5 years, on which area should a student focus a lot? On which subjects should a student focus a lot?
Can you repeat the question, please?
So my question is that during the course of 5 years, what are the areas where should a student, or what are the subjects where which should, student should emphasize a lot of hard work and labor in that.
Okay. So my advice would be there would be a subject called interpretation of statutes. Number one, that is the very important subject to be taken care of. Second is you would be having drafting as one of the subjects, right? And the contract management. These are the and constitution basically. These are the four topics which I would advise students to take utmost care of, because these are applicable in all field of law: constitution, drafting, the interpretation of statutes. These are these subjects basically.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you please tell us that a student should be focused on only, he should be focused on academics only during the 5 years, or he should get a lot of help after graduating with the extra curricular activities and so.
So according to my sense, I think it would be a mix of both. So academics definitely is very important, because for law as a law, unless you know the law, you will not be able to advise. And for extra, if the students are only indulged into law, they will not be knowing how the outside world look like. So it should be blend of both of these two activities, academics as well as extracurricular activities. By extracurricular activities, they would gain confidence in public speaking, in representing their matter, which would be beneficial in future, where they actually go and take up the role as a corporate lawyer or a litigation lawyer. So I would advise students to have mix of both academics as
Okay.
well as extracurricular activities.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you tell us that what point should the student keep in his or her mind while interning? Sir, am I audible
Okay.
to you?
So yeah. So I would advise them to be very clear which path they want to go. So when they are choosing their internship, they should feel that uh, the internship will actually try to uh, give them on the job exposure. So if suppose I'm a student and I am very good in arguing, so by third year or fourth year, I would be sure that I would go into I would want to become a arguing counsel. So at the internship stage, they would not go into corporate field if they want to go into litigation. If they want to go into litigation, they should join some good lawyer as an intern. On the other hand, if somebody wants to be into a corporate practice, they want to handle M&A transaction, they want to advise, or maybe they want to involve himself or herself into legal opinions in advisory role into a corporate sector. So then at the internship, they should not do internship with a lawyer. They should join some corporate as an intern, wherein their skills will be actually sharpened for taking up the role.
Okay, sir, is it necessary to have internship under the big name? Because often students go for big names.
It is not necessary to have internship with a big name, but definitely it is very essential to do internship with a lawyer who has uh, a very decent work, not that a normal lawyer or a lawyer who doesn't have a work. If a lawyer doesn't have a work, they will not get any exposure. And on the other hand, if big name not necessarily is important, but I would suggest they should go with a lawyer who has a long practice and who has a very different type of a work. For example, some criminal work, some family court work, some of the yeah, आपका property related work and all. So he should be a very he should be a lawyer who would have a standing of at least 10-12 years into practice, and he should have a you can say concentration of work, not that the ideal one.
Okay, sir. So let's take up the questions from the audience side. So the first question, which is being raised by the audience, one of the audience, is that what is your opinion and what will be the opportunities available, particularly in the field of corporate sector, when a student will graduate?
So, as far as corporate sector is concerned, a lot of opportunities are available actually. So in India, there are many corporates which are there, which has a uh, internal legal team. Nowadays, uh, almost all the corporate has their internal legal team. So as far as opportunities are concerned, most of the corporates are now tying up with the good universities like your late Jagran City University and the National Law School and a couple of other law universities to have a campus placement. So they come for recruitment in a campus. There is a campus interview or being organized wherein law students who are graduating on that particular year participates, and through a there is a set of pattern for the selection thing, and if these guys are getting selected, they hire you from the campus directly. So there are a lot of opportunities available as far as corporate profession is concerned.
Okay, sir. Sir, if a student is interested in corporate sector, what additional specialization or additional courses he must pursue, which will help him or her in the corporate sector?
So as far as the specializations are concerned, in this time, insolvency, IBC, cyber security, IPR, these are the few which I can suggest. So these are very hot during these days.
Okay, another question I'll take up is that, which is being asked by the audience, that do you give any advice to the student or to crack judicial services?
It's a very interesting question. Uh, so if you want to devote some time and you want to actually pursue judicial services, I think you should then be very, very serious in academics. And uh, academics, when I'm saying, means the law part, and you should always be, and you should also be aware of the general knowledge part of the actually field. So you should be very thorough in your law subject, as well as you should be well conversant with the national and international scenarios and the news which are there, the current affairs basically. So my advice would be, if you want to pursue your career into judicial services, definitely this is a very good avenue for a law student. Then you should be very, very sharp. So in that, mediocrity will not be actually successful. You have to be on top of all these things. So you should be on top of your academics. You should be on top of your current knowledge pertaining to current affairs. You should be on top of the knowledge of your surroundings, what is happening in national and international parlance. So that would be my advice.
Completely, I agree to you, sir. Next question we have with us, if some student don't want to go into litigation, so what options are available for such student who don't want to involve himself into litigation after completing the law course?
Yeah. So the students who doesn't want to go into litigation, they can pursue advisory role. They can pursue IPR as one of the intellectual property advisory into intellectual property rights. They can pursue advisory into cyber security. They can pursue advisory into IBC, which is a very hot topic these days, insolvency and bankruptcy code, or they can simply be a non-litigation lawyer, the contract drafting lawyer. So these are the avenues which these guys can pursue.
Okay, sir. Sir, next question we have with us from the audience side, that if a student is in first year, how he should plan his or her internship?
Okay, so when the student is in first year, I think he can approach his or her university or a law college, which would definitely be having a placement center where the placement center can help. He or she can approach their contacts if they are from the law family, or they know some good lawyers, or he can approach to some of their seniors or some of their relatives who are into corporate sectors, or some friends, or maybe they can go directly from on the website of different corporates, write a mail to their HR requesting the internship. That can also work sometimes. So these are the few options where which can help them to get internship.
Mm-hmm. So next question we have with us, does foreign internship helps in good placement?
It depends, not necessarily. Actually, it will benefit some part, but I don't think only having a foreign internship will land the student into a good job. I don't agree with that. Even there are many Indian law firms which are far better than the foreign law firms. So I have a different view.
Okay, sir. And what is your take on doing PG courses from abroad? Does it help in this field in getting into industry?
So that also doesn't help much. So that is only to have your uh, maybe sharpening your skill, wherein you will get some exposure on foreign law. Otherwise, uh, that is data doesn't show any correlation having a foreign PG degree getting a good job, or if you have an Indian degree and you are not getting a good job. That is, data doesn't say this. It is particularly dependent on individual skills to get successful in this career.
Okay, sir. Sir, so the next question from the audience side is that how should a final year law student prepare to go into PSUs, and what they should keep in their mind while preparing for getting into public sector undertakings?
Yeah. So PSU, when I'm saying PSU, it includes banks also. So PSU and banks, they every year they come out with like vacancies, starting from law officer. So when they are into final year, they should be actually checking all the websites. They should be aware of all the recruitment magazines where these corporate advertise for these vacancies. And this is basically to get to know where the vacancy is being created. And as far as cracking these exams, they should be very sharp in their subject, which is law, as well as there is a data analytic section also in that. So their numerical skills, data analytical skills, communication skills, all is also should be very important in getting through these exams. However, I would again say PSU is a very good opportunity. Once you get into the PSU, it's a lifetime employment. Number one. Number two, if you are not that ambitious, it's a very good place to be in. Every 3 years you will get a promotion, and your salary will increase.
Okay, sir. So another question from audience side is that whether litigation or judicial services, if we have two options, so which option one should choose?
That would be individual to decide, but if this choice is to me, I would choose the litigation. Simply because when you are into a litigation lawyer, you will earn far more money than into a judicial service. Because
Okay, so
a good litigation lawyer earns far more money than a judicial person.
yes, definitely, sir. It's a choice of interest, and it's a choice of individual. Depends upon
I'm,
individual to individual.
I'm sure uh, almost all who are into legal fraternity would have read one magazine. There was a magazine in, I think, publication in last maybe 1 year or so, wherein India's top 50 lawyers name were mentioned. So I only remember one name, Harish Salve, whose fee was mentioned in that magazine, and it was a public figure that particular point in time. It was mentioned that he is taking, I think, 25 lakh rupees per hearing. Is that what was mentioned in the magazine? So this shows that if you are a lawyer of that stature, you can earn hell lot of money by practicing law.
Okay, sir. So the next question we have with us, that if a student in first year decided to go into corporate sector, or he want to become a corporate lawyer, if he have decided in the first year, right from the first year only, so what are the areas in which he or she need to be more focused?
Yeah, so he should be more focused on contract drafting. He should be more focused on SEBI laws, Companies Act. Uh, these are the few and the IPR basically. So these are the four topics which he should be very well versed of: contract drafting, IPR, SEBI law, Companies Act.
Completely agree to you, sir. So next question from the audience side is that whether the combination of law and CS is beneficial for the corporate field, or simply a law graduate can enter into corporate field.
So I can share with my experience. Law and CS is a deadly combination. So if you are a law and a CS, nothing like it, yeah, nothing like it. It gives you an edge actually.
Okay, sir. So one more question, that what difficulties you have faced during the completion of your 5-year course or a 3-year course?
This is a question to me, my personal experience, or this for
Yes,
the
sir.
student?
Your personal experience, and on the basis of
Uh,
that, what you suggest to
okay.
the
So
students.
my personal experience is because I was doing law with my CS. So I did CS first and then enrolled myself into law. So I did not face much difficulty because CS course is far more intensive actually as far as law subject is concerned. So since CS itself is a very difficult to crack, so I was actually preparing for a CS, so I did not face much difficulty in clearing my law exams.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your wonderful insight on the subject. So at the outset, I express my deepest gratitude to our expert, Mr. Ashish Laktakia, for sparing his precious time for us. I also extend my special thanks to all the attendees and the persons behind the screen for making this session successful. Hope you had a good time here, and hope you have your doubts are clear by now, and we'll shortly begin with the next session, so stay tuned for that matter. And for the next session, we have with us Mr. Supratim Chakrabarti. He's partner at Khaitan and Company. He will be speaking on opportunities in corporate law and what is in store in the new future. Since we will begin our session immediately after this, so Thank you so much, sir. Once again, I extend my heartfelt thanks to you for sparing time with us, for sharing your rich acumen on the subject. Thank you so much, sir. Over to
Thank you.